out there. Judge one not by their charms. Judge them by the qualities, the principles that they illustrate when they deal with you. Kamisha Monica, everybody. And this message is for someone out there. Welcome to the Las Vegas Tribune News, local news and online music and entertainment. My name is Kamisha Monica. I want to thank you guys for clicking all the way in. Now, everybody, I'm back with another show, and I just want you to know, if you ain't here, you ain't nowhere. Now, last week I talked about Black culture and revisiting the idea of the broadcast being about Black culture and what we don't know and what we do know and how we know about all the things that history has presented us with, the present day situations, and maybe a little bit of the future. But no one's for sure in terms of the future. And we do know about the past, but how do we have a show that actually reflects the times that we're living in and that's more positive to push us forward? What I did discover when I went down the rabbit hole, and yes, I went way down that rabbit hole. What most of the content online, I found it to be really negative when it talk about Black culture. And what I mean by Black culture, I mean Black American culture here in America. I felt disgusted. And I felt disgusted because most of the negativity about Black culture was actually coming from us. It was coming from us. And so I got a little bit worried that maybe I'd fall down that same rabbit hole of negativity just by trying to be positive in our culture and being a light in terms of the show with our culture. I wasn't sure, but I'm going to make the attempt. So everybody get ready to listen. And maybe learn a few things. And like I said last week, I don't know everything. So I'm going into this with you, and hopefully, based on comments, based on people's responses to maybe issues I bring up or solutions to what Black culture problems are in America, maybe we'll get somewhere. Now, I'll start here. Do you guys know how many Black people there are in America? I mean, do you even know a roundabout of that number? Well, I did a little research and I found that there are 47.2 million Black Americans. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And it's a lot of people for this idea online where people are constantly bashing Black people, and I found it to be a lot of Black people doing it. Some of the things that we described our culture as trash, useless, disgusting. I mean, there were hundreds of videos about this. So offensive. But I didn't even really know where to look to find lots of positive things about us. So, moving on. Did you know that the place that has the most Black people, metropolitan place, shocked me because I always hear Atlanta. I always hear Chicago. I always hear Washington, D.C. Now, they're in the top 4, but number 1 is actually New York, metropolitan area, with almost over 4 million people. Wow, I was surprised by that. I've been to New York. I did see a lot of Black people, but I think that maybe the idea that when we talk about Black Americans, we also have to include immigration from places like Africa and the Caribbeans definitely a different cultures as from the Black American culture, but nevertheless, they're checking that box as far as their citizenship or how they identify is part of Black culture. And I mean that in reference to Black American culture. Now, I got a couple of things a couple of social updates that I wanted to give you guys today. I don't know if I'm gonna bring other concepts just while I'm testing out whether or not Black culture is something that I want to continue to do, or maybe later just infuse maybe some Black facts so we can get to more of a positive perception of how we're viewed all over the world, right? Because people are clicking in the internet. They're not waiting till 5, 6 o'clock to get home to watch their television to get their information. It's right there online, and that's where we are. Now, here's a couple of things that I came across. How many people out there are still smoking cigarettes? No judgment passed here, but I'll let you know something. Did you know that 45,000 Black people die a year? I mean, I was shocked because I really don't see a lot of Black people smoking cigarettes. And apparently 85% of us are smoking menthol. And I don't smoke, but I am including because we're talking about Black culture. I'm not going to separate myself. So if there's any negativity, I'm in it too. Right? It's not like when I walk out the door, you see anything else. Okay, now, next. Off topic a little bit, but I thought you should know this. There is a bill trying to be passed in Congress. It's a UFO transparency bill. I just came across this a few days ago. I thought it was crazy that they're talking about passing this bill, and this bill would force the United States government to expose aliens and alien ships that they have had hidden for years. And this comes off the back of a general who went in and spoke about that we have aliens and they do exist. I know the religious people are probably like, oh no, but let me tell you, if you ever read your Bible, you would know that during those days of creation, he created creatures and all those things too. I'm not on one side or the other of the argument. I'm just saying it's possible. Now, back to Black Americans. Okay. Well, actually, this is not Black Americans. This is something else I found, and it's in reference to fatal violence against transgenders. Now, I would say for myself, okay, my sex, my biological sex, and my gender match. For me, it's always been female. I know there's a term that they call us cisgenders, but growing up, I've only known male and female, and identifiable wise, I identify with female biologically and gender. Now, I will say my gender expression might be a little bit different because I played sports and I like tennis shoes, and some days I just want to throw on my sweats and my long sleeve t-shirts and just, go out, and that may not always look like I'm operating in feminine energy, if you know what I mean. Well, back to the topic at hand. Did you know that 42% of victims are murdered by a romantic or sexual partner, friend, or family member? I found this to be very, very shocking. I watch a lot of crime shows, and they're usually murdered by someone they are truly connected to or being intimate with. So I wasn't exactly surprised, but I just thought that it's not about this whole gender thing. People are actually losing their lives. And that, as a humanitarian, that's what I like to associate myself with. I find that to be a little bit eerie. Now, let's move over into the state of Black culture. I have a topic that I found, and I wanted to talk about this topic. And let me first just say that I do not have children, but I was once a child. So I can speak from a perspective of actually learning and what I had absorbed as a child. Now, there's a question now. Is black culture ruining black children? And I thought, well, first of all, let's visit what culture is. I came up with customs, norms, social institutions, achievements, principles, a value system of a specific group. And in reference to today's conversation, we're talking about Black American culture. So everything that evolves around what this group represents. That's what the definition is for me for this show. I know that you have scholars and people who have all their ideas about what black culture is, but as far as I'm concerned, for the show, this is where I'm going to operate from. And I want to make sure I'm coming from a place of understanding, not this place of judgment, right? Qualities over charm. Now, I also came across to what extent are parents responsible for their children in reference to the culture that they represent. And 3, if you are neglecting to teach your child to do the right things in life, is that a form of child abuse? So by connecting all 3 of these, I'm going to just start with the state of black culture, and is black culture ruining black children? I think there's like 2 things going on at once, or a couple of things going on at once. First of all, black children, we grow up a certain way, and our parents are generally our first role models. And the influence our parents have on us, and this could go for this could be said for any child, but today we're talking about black culture. So I say that when it comes to our parents and the influence that they do have on us, I think that's the first influence that we take in, the first programming. So before we get culture, we get our role models, our parents. I do think that certain aspects of black culture might be ruining black children. And what I found when people are disgusted by black American culture, they focus mostly on the music. So the programming of what our music is infusing into us, what we listen to as adults, and then our children being within that same realm. So if you are influenced by the music, your child is listening to the music, then your child will be influenced by the music. But I don't think it's a total wash that black American culture is ruining black children. I actually don't. I think there's so much more to black culture than just our music that influences all of us. And I believe that your children, you have to teach them the way to go. And when you teach them the way to go, they're still going to have choices. But as a parent, you are responsible for that programming, that beginning, that infusing them with the right things and how to lead a better life. So when they become adults and they have their children, the cultural norms are instilled properly. I could not disagree with people online about the music having such a huge influence, but there is a portion of responsibility that belongs to parents. And I know I don't have children, but I was once a child, and I remember growing up and, for example, hearing the song It was called The Ghetto. I was like in second, third grade when this came out. By the time I got to fourth grade, I found out the definition of ghetto in a history book. And right next to it, it said a city slum. I had never even known that I lived in a ghetto because this was just home for me. So, you know, I really understand how the influence of music can really mess with our children. And I just think, you know, as we're going forward and we are looking to bring our culture to a higher standard, because we all got to get there. We got a lot of things going on. Yes, you see the reality shows and people throwing drinks. You also see the Michelle Obamas. You also see black people in Congress. You also see them as teachers. You see them as firefighters. So we're intertwined in society. I know those things are not the things that they are showing, but we are there. We are maybe not as highlighted because we are not also highlighting the good things that we bring to the world. It's not just music, doctors, lawyers, models. I don't care what it is you do as a black person, long as you're putting your ticket in society to do something to better yourself. Now, I'm going to move on. And this is probably going to sound really crazy going over into this next part of the show because I feel bad, but I have to talk about this situation that happened. And first, we must ask ourselves, 1, what is going on here? 2, is the actions justified? And 3, is this even real? Atlanta police arrested Lanisha Chantrice Henderson, a 26-year-old. And you're not going to believe what she got arrested for. She was pouring gasoline on the childhood home of Martin Luther King. They arrested her for criminal attempt arson and criminal attempt interference with government property. Now, first of all, I didn't even know the house was owned by the government. I mean, that's a little shocking to me. And why? Why? Maybe it's on a national registry, so I won't speak on that. But, I mean, the question was, why is this house owned by the government? And 2, there was a lot of speculation around it. I mean, some people were saying that it might just have been a setup. It might have just been something where they wanted to bring attention to the house and had her go and do it. But I thought, wow, you would risk your freedom to do that? Someone says, well, maybe she was paid to do it. Ooh, that's a slippery slope. I don't know, but I know people throw out a lot of conspiracy theories these days, especially when it comes to reasoning on why things happen as they do. I don't know, but here's what's happening with her now. She's actually been taken in for psychological evaluation, and I think that is fitting. But once she's done, she will be released back to jail. And I guess have to face a court trial or whatnot. But if we want to get better and be better and be seen in a better light in society, and I mean, that's not going to stop all the rah-rah and all the other things we do, because collectively it makes up our culture. It makes up black culture. I think we just have to make better decisions in all of what we do. I'm working on it. I'm not self-righteous. I am a self-proclaimed bad girl when I'm not in here and when I'm on my own. So don't get me to be acting all up here when I know I'm right here with y'all. I'm right here with y'all, you know? Okay. I'm going to close. Well, I'm not going to close it out. What I am going to do is go to commercial break, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm John P.G. Stiles. Some people call me JPEG. You can probably guess why. I'm the founder and partner at WWDBTV. Does your business need a commercial, or do you already have one and you just want to get the message out there? Do you need a sizzle reel? Do you need an audition tape for a part that you're up for? Or have you ever thought about hosting your own show? Well, this is the place, WWDBTV.
All right, everybody, we're back. Network music world artists in the 21st century for the song. Network music world artists for the song in the 21st century goes to, with 9.5 million subscribers on YouTube, Billboard Hot 100, it hit the number 10 spot. Record label, Atlantic and Generation Now. Songwriters, Samora Woods, Mohamed Camara, and Javier Mercado. Produced by MC Vert and Synthetic. Network music world artist song in the 21st century goes to, from the album Peak Tape, Lil Uzi Vert with Just Wanna Rock. I want to thank you for your contributions to music, and you are a network music world artist song in the 21st century. And remember, life is good, it gets better with music. Now, I'm going to close out with my closing thought, and I'm just going to say this before I go. Judgment. We have to have better judgment about the decisions that we make, even the people we choose to spend our lives with. All of these are important decisions. I know that in the heat of the moment, things could just go whatever way. But be mindful. Be mindful that all these decisions have consequences, including judging someone based on charm and not qualities. That's it. That's all. Until we meet again, I will see you guys next week. Deuces.